Welcome to the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show.
Well, hello, everybody. How about that? How about right off the bat in the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th quarter postgame show, we get an upset alert, and if you were watching our pregame show, you knew to expect this one. Vanderbilt out here making your boy look like a genius. They're currently tied with 7th-ranked Mizzou. 44 seconds left. Vandy's got the ball, one timeout, 2nd and 7, and let's see, they've got to go about 85 yards. For 7. Now, to get in field goal range, obviously it's a little less. Actually, they're at the 10 right now, so they got to go 90 yards for the touchdown, but you got to say probably 50, maybe 60 yards to get in field goal range. Looks like they're going to play for overtime here. They're going to kneel on it and take their chances in overtime. But, hey, the smart kids out here trying to make me look smart. I like it.
We said during pregame that Vandy always plays well up in Como, and they did not disappoint today.
Yeah, and speaking of not disappointing, how about the Hogs, man? I'll be honest, man. I had this one pegged as a loss. We tried our damnedest to give it away to them, and they tried to give it right back. It's almost like neither team wanted to win. I think you had about, what'd we end up on today, 7 combined turnovers?
Yeah, because they had 5, and then I think we had 2.
Yeah, but you know what? A win is a win. It doesn't matter, ugly, pretty, mediocre, whatever. A win is a win. We're 3-1 and headed to Jerry World next week to take on the Aggies.
And the difference this week versus last week was granted, we're 2 teams towards the bottom of the SEC, but that was an SEC opponent in an SEC game.
I saw a stat right before we came live here. I saw a stat. This is the first time that Arkansas has had back-to-back wins in Jordan-Hare since 2006 to 2008.
That fact was mentioned on the show Wednesday night, MC.
There you go. How about that? Razorback Zach chiming in. He's audio only because he's out and about and taking care of things. Zach, what's your immediate thoughts after the game?
You want my honest opinion?
I mean, I asked, so lay it on me.
We look like hot garbage.
But not as hot garbage as Auburn looks.
No, and the thing is, look, guys, here's the thing. All right, I'm not about to be this sunshine pumper, positive, rah. Look, we look like crap today. This is the worst crap we've looked like since the Oklahoma State game. And by the way, being from Benton, so happy to see Braylon Russell in there getting some reps.
Dude, he had some big conversions on some third downs late in the game. That last scoring drive, Jesse, I think you said it was 12 straight running plays.
We had a 4th and 1, and Bobby read the fan base's mind, put Braylon in, and let Braylon, the bruiser Russell, go to work.
Yeah, Braylon, he earned himself some more PT today.
Yeah, but at the same time, guys, I mean, look, to take the words that from Funny Maine over in Alabama, struggle win.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, look, a win's a win, whether you win by 1 point or whether you win by 10. I will say this: we need a kicker. We need a kicker who can kick a field goal. I'm sorry. You have one job, and you can make one from the right hash, but you can't make one straight on at the same yardage. One was a 43, the other one was a 41, and you can't make either one of them. You can't make the one straight on.
It's the poster child of inconsistency because you have similar situations. And, I don't know if it's I don't know what goes into special teams practice. I've never been around special teams practice, so I don't know. I can't comment on it. But is it something in the way that preparation goes, or is it more of, we all know kickers are head cases anyway. Does it tie back to that? I mean, I don't know what it is, but that it told me a lot late in the game there, where instead of taking the points and making it 27-14, we didn't run the risk of anything going wrong on that kick, and it was fourth and 6, 4th and 7, and we just let Braylon Russell go for about 2 or 3 yards just to kill more clock.
Yeah. Now that now look, all right. Before the fan base comes after me for being Miss Negative Nancy over here, look, I've ripped into the offense, I've ripped into special teams, but how about the defense? Play.
T. Will had them dudes ready, man. He had them ready. You got to tip your hat to him because, even with the bad dead ducks being thrown by Auburn QBs, still had to have guys in position to make the interceptions. We got a little pressure today, got a few sacks, and I think the pressure that we talked about pregame is what led to some of those dead ducks.
But here's the thing. Yeah, we're 3-1, but why does and yeah, we won by 10. But why does it feel like a loss?
It doesn't for me. I mean, it's an exhale and a okay, I'll take it. Let's go. Let's move on. We look. I'm going to throw this out there. In the past, I would say all the way back to the Bielema era. So go back, go back a decade. Go back 10 years. When Auburn got that 80-yard touchdown or whatever on the 4th and 2, I guarantee you, up until this point today, in previous years, we lose that game.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. Absolutely.
Because we choke our tail off after that. I think I sent y'all the message. I was like 3 and out incoming. Because we knew what was coming, and we got bailed out. They had the 3 and out, and then they bailed us out with a pass interference call, and kept our drive going.
But like I said, I'm not going to be all negative, Nancy. We look like crap today, but yes, at the end of the day, we are 3-1 going into A&M. So,
you take it. Hey, Jesse, throw up Baxter Makes comment because I think it's really relevant to what we're talking about right here. With Zach saying, why does this feel like a loss? And his next one.
The other one.
Yep. Baxter comes in and says it was our offense in the second and third quarter that makes it feel like a loss. I mean, it was a struggle on offense. Jaquindon Jackson never really got rolling. Taylor Green, I mean, he had so many questionable decisions made today that Bobby pulled him and put Malachi Singleton in. And if we saw nothing else, we saw why Malachi Singleton is the backup and Taylor Green is QB1 because Singleton had some deer in the headlights look when he got in.
Now, I am going to nitpick for just a second. And
bring it.
Everybody kept, pull Taylor Green. And I'm just as guilty.
Oh, I was saying it.
Guilty. Malachi Singleton didn't look all that hot today either.
No,
he was in for 3 plays though. You can't come off the bench cold like that.
You can't base
that was more of a Taylor. Sit over here, catch your breath, clear your mind.
Yeah.
Get back in there and do what you know how to do.
Yeah, but that should have happened 2 games ago.
I'll tell you guys that's a perfect way to describe that, Jesse. But an analogy to kind of piggyback onto that, that's the equivalent of your point guard in basketball coming out and having 2 or 3 bad turnovers in a row. You bring him out, set him over here to the side, and say, "Hey, man, calm down, take a breath. Quit trying to force things. Let it come to you." And then the very next series, you bring him back in. And I believe on the very next series was when he had the bomb to Satania, wasn't it?
The prayer that got answered.
It's like I texted you guys when that happened. I was like, sometimes it's better to be lucky than to be good. And, we'll take all the luck we can get on that one. But what about that catch by Satania, man? I mean, the deep ball was pretty there. Not
to mention, MC, he had a dude in his face.
He did. He had to make a heck of an athletic move there to make that catch.
He caught that ball behind the defender's back pulled it around, turned around, and stepped into the end zone.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought there's no way that I thought he was just throwing it up to get rid of it.
Well, he kind of was, but kudos to Satania for seeing that the safeties pulled up and there was nothing but green grass behind them. So he took off and made, basically an in-play audible from where his route was and just took off. And when they went up to try to put pressure on, he went behind them and made it work. And you know what? Bottom line, at the end of the day, we're 3-1. Jesse, let's
comment over here.
Yeah, let's jump into these comments because they're flying in here.
They're probably
first. I want to address this one.
They're probably roasting me because I'm being such a negative Nancy today.
And this one, D-Mad said, "Did y'all know T. Will wasn't on the sidelines last week? T. Will was on the sidelines last week.
I thought he missed midweek.
Seen him on camera multiple times. He did miss a few practices with the birth of a child, but he was on the sideline last week."
Hey, before we go to our next comment, we have an update from Columbia. Vanderbilt just scored in overtime to make it 26-20. Extra point pending.
Anchor down, baby.
That's
good. Hey, you talk about icing on the cake. If we go down to Auburn and get a win, and then Vanderbilt goes to Columbia and upsets 7th-ranked Mizzou, I mean, that's a day right there, man.
Hey, now I do got to give props because one of our fans Wednesday night when we were doing our pick'em, our staff predictions and stuff, they did. This particular fan did get the closest out of everybody that sent us predictions and all of our staff predictions. Carolyn Williams said 28-21 Arkansas.
Mm-hmm. She did.
So I got to give a shout out and props and kudos to her. So fingers to the sky for Carolyn Williams.
Yeah, there we go. Yeah, we'll put the ones up for Carolyn because she earned it on that one.
All right, we've got Chris Ferracci. How about my boy TJ? Man, TJ,
he had a heck of a game.
Bow down to TJ today.
Yeah, might need to put them ones up for TJ.
SEC Defensive Player of the Week loading.
Yeah, it'll be good to see him get co-defensive player of the week.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's gonna get co. Don't. Yeah.
All right, let's see what else we got going over here.
All right, well, one play later in overtime, Mizzou's first play, and they score. So we're headed, unless they go for 2 here, we're headed for double overtime in Columbia. By the way, this is not the Kool-Aid just yet. I do have the packet. I did get it out of the cabinet and laid it out on the counter, so I'm thinking about it. But I'm not there with the Kool-Aid yet.
Next up, we got Baxter Meats. Defense looked like an SEC defense today.
It really did. They forced the Auburn offense is pretty putrid, but some of that was because we forced them into bad decisions.
Had a couple blown coverages that led to big plays, but for the most part, they held them in check. I mean, it was a shutout until middle toward or end of third quarter.
Yeah, I mean it was late in the third.
Was the one that threw the touchdown, so it was at least second half.
Yeah, it was late in the third quarter before they finally got on the board. I'm going to look and see if the box score happens to be out here yet on ESPN because I wanted to see total yardage. Danico Slaughter. Hey, we talked about in pregame, he needed to clean things up. Man had 7 solo tackles today, including 1 sack and 2 tackles for loss. Looking through here, I mean, looking at these defensive stats, man, TJ Metcalf, 4 solo tackles. Brad Spence, 4 solo tackles. Let's see. Eric Gregory with a couple, Landon Jackson with a couple solo tackles. I mean, it's a good day. Let's see. You had 4 interceptions on the day. TJ Metcalf with 2, Jaden Johnson with 1, and here you go, Jesse, your boy Danico Slaughter with a pick on the day.
I said Slaughter needed to clean up his play and step up today, and he did.
He must have heard you, man.
That.
All right, getting over here to team stats. Third down efficiency. Arkansas was 9 of 19. Auburn was 5 of 11. Fourth down efficiency. Arkansas was 2 for 4, 50%. I think you'll take 50% on fourth down. Let's see. Auburn 1 of 3. Total yards. Okay, now this is interesting. Total yards. Arkansas had 334 total yards of offense. Auburn had 431 total yards of offense and 17 points.
They can move the ball, they just couldn't get it in the end zone.
Yeah, get down into the red zone and kind of crap out or throw a pick. Rushing
sounds
was
like a team I rooted for 2 years ago.
Yeah, amen to that.
Rushing was pretty even. Arkansas 183 yards on the ground, 146 for Auburn. But the passing yards was the big difference. They had about 100 more passing yards than Arkansas did. Penalties, not really a factor for either team. Arkansas, 4 penalties for 20 yards. Auburn, 5 for 46. The only one I can think of that was really a game changer was that late pass interference that Auburn got right after they had scored. Arkansas comes back, and this is about the time I was texting you guys, all right, 3 and out incoming. And we basically were there at the 3 and out, and we got bailed out with a pass interference. 5 turnovers for Auburn. There's your difference in the game right there. 2 for Arkansas.
5 turnovers is like trying to climb up a sand hill.
Yeah. Yeah, it really is. I mean, that's just you're not going to beat anybody with 5 turnovers.
Except yourselves.
We can beat ourselves other ways than 5 turnovers.
All right, guys, let me give you an update from Columbia. Second possession, Missouri got stopped. It's 4th and 5, and they're going to kick a field goal. Vanderbilt will get the ball coming up next. Let's see what happens here with this kick. Looks like the kick is good, so it's 30-27 Missouri in the second overtime with Vanderbilt getting the ball. So Vanderbilt puts one in the end zone, and they pull the upset.
Anchor down. Let's go, Vandy.
Hit that upset.
So I want to jump back into a couple comments here. I see one from Eric Jernigan here I want to get to real quick.
All right, go ahead, MC.
All right, let me get up here. I'll try not to bump my camera here when I pull this up. Eric Jernigan, D looked good. Offense on both sides looked like they were having a competition on who could be the most inept. I mean, I can't really argue with that.
Can't argue with that.
That's, it was obvious that the scheme that Auburn had on defense to make Taylor Green beat them with their arm, I mean, it worked pretty well for them because he couldn't do it. And, I was getting really down on Green at one point, man, because of his decision making. I think you saw today in Green, I think you saw that, he's still a project. He's still a work in progress. And he figured out today that going on the road in the Mountain West is a little different than going on the road in the SEC.
Just a little bit.
As the famous baseball announcer once said, just a bit outside.
Yeah, just a tad. Let me jump back over here. I saw a comment somewhere.
I've got one right here I want to hit real quick from Dan Yoakum. I would run Green out to the right and out to the left with a run thrower option because he doesn't really have a feel for the pocket. Doesn't really know when to step up into the pocket to avoid the rush. Still kind of holds it too long. He also tries to get his receivers killed.
Yeah.
Man, he was throwing hospital balls all over the place today. If I'm the receivers, I'm making Green take me out for dinner when we get back to Fayetteville and maybe get me a gift card for a massage because he was, dude, I thought he got Andrew Armstrong killed right there in the first quarter.
Dude, I thought Armstrong was dead.
I thought he was really severely injured the way he hit, but kudos to him, man, for being able to come back and contribute later on in the game.
I told my wife, I said, he just got his ribs broken.
But that was, hey, kudos to him, and I did not hear what the injury was on the kid that got hurt on the very next play for Auburn, but it must have been pretty bad because they wouldn't show the replay.
His leg was in an air cast on the way off the field, so I figure his leg was bent a way that it's not supposed to bend.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good indication there. And then when the announcers come back and say, "Yeah, we're not going to show this," I mean, I get it, but at the same time, I'm kind of like, okay, well, now you just make me want to see it more. So, all right, let's see. Let's set the scene for you here in Columbia because this is a huge upset brewing here. 2nd and 13 for Vandy in the second overtime. They just gave up a sack. Throw to the end zone here. Looks like we're going to get a flag in the end zone, but I think it's going to be offensive pass interference from the way this is looking. I felt like the D-back had the position and was about to pull the pick, and the offensive guy pulled him down. We'll see what the call is here, but the officials are coming together. Here's your pass interference. Yep, on the offense. Wow, so that's huge. So instead of 2nd and 13, that'll make it, what, 3rd and about 28? Because isn't that a 15-yarder?
Not a loss of down, though, so it'll be 2nd and 28.
Oh, 2nd and 28. Okay.
I'd much rather face 2nd and 28 than the game's over and we lost.
Yeah, very true.
Or Vandy lost. Go ahead, Zach.
I said, ask Bama about 2nd and 28.
Yeah. It just needed. I remember. Was it Tuah that told Saban in the championship game? Well, he needed to back up so he had more room to throw it.
Yeah. Well, boys, I'm gonna jump off here. I'm gonna let you guys have it. I gotta get some more stuff ready for our event next week. Hope to see
there you go. All right, Z. Appreciate you jumping in with us for a little bit.
You bet. Go Hogs.
All right, so we'll jump over here, get back into the comments, and sorry, y'all, they're coming in a little faster than I can get to them. Trevor Kaiser talking about the injury to the Auburn player. They took him off at an air cast. So the thought is broken tibia, fibula, or dislocated femoral head. I don't know. I've never heard of a dislocated femoral head, but that sounds pretty ugly.
Basically, dislocated hip where the femur connects to the hip.
Oh, isn't that what ended Bo Jackson's career?
Before my time, MC. Don't get me lying.
I believe it was a hip injury of some kind. All right, so back to this upset alert. 3rd and 11 for Vandy here. Screen pass batted down, so it's now. Oh, they're calling that a backwards pass, and Missouri just recovered, so that may be the ball game. Vanderbilt quarterback was trying to throw a screen. No, the official just said it was not a backwards pass, so incomplete pass, 4th down. So this is it, do or die for Vandy right here. So we'll let them reset, and we'll go back to our comments. Our boy D-Mad jumped in. Auburn receivers couldn't catch a cold. Yeah, they had some issues going on, and the redshirt freshman quarterback had some issues. He had a couple of throws where I thought he looked pretty good, but obviously he had more bad ones than good ones. So I think you've got, kind of a pick your poison situation in Auburn for your quarterback, because I didn't feel like Peyton Thorne looked that much better than what's the other kid's name? Hank
Brown.
Hank Brown, thank you. I didn't feel like either one of them stood out from the other. So you may have a little bit of a quarterback controversy there, and things don't get any easier for Auburn either, because their schedule matches up pretty close to about how Arkansas's is moving forward. So this is a huge, huge game for Arkansas to get the win. And, we had said before right now that, I think we said it in pregame, I know we said it on Wednesday night, that whoever loses this game has got a really tough road ahead of them just to get to 6 wins so they can make a bowl game.
Tell you something else. I'm going to go a little off topic here before we hit the break, MC, but we made fun of the Florida-Mississippi State game.
Oh, my God.
And then we had this game, so apologies to Florida and Mississippi State fans.
Yeah.
We recognize bad football, and we had bad football today.
One of the tweets I put out.
State schedule.
Yeah. Dude, they may be looking at. Oh, man, Vanderbilt just missed the field goal to tie it up, so Missouri escapes with a 3-point win in double overtime. Oh, my goodness. Wow. So I'd put a tweet out in regards to that Mississippi State Florida game, and the tweet I put out was, I apologize to Florida Mississippi State for labeling it a blindfolded pillow fight. Arkansas Auburn is a blindfolded slap fight with one hand tied behind each back. So
maybe both hands tied behind the back at the end of the first half.
Yeah,
there.
we might have had our arms amputated and just
three
swinging our shoulders.
I think in the span of like 5 plays, we had 3 interceptions going inside the 2-minute timeout.
Yeah.
Let me make sure I say it right.
Yeah, the 2-minute timeout. Don't call it 2-minute warning.
All right, MC. Let's hit a break real quick, catch our breath.
Okay.
And
I'll get some scores ready for us when we come back, and we can kind of go around the conference and around the nation for some score updates.
Yeah. One good thing about not playing at 11 a.m. is we have other games to talk about on the Allen Kerr Advisors fifth quarter postgame show.
There you go.
We'll be right back after this.
Hi, I'm Allen Kerr, president and founder of Allen Kerr Advisors. As an advisor group, our goal is to ensure a positive reputation with government agencies and legislative bodies to provide timely and proactive solutions for all of our clients. We have successfully represented our clients with targeted campaigns that get results. Our focus is on the insurance industry, but we're experts in other areas of business as well. We're a full-service, nationwide advisor group with legislative and regulatory relationship networks in all 50 states. We can assist companies in getting their first certificate of operation and then help them expand nationwide. We can also help businesses create and launch new products, setting up standard risk pools, and creating captive entities. So, if you're planning a company expansion, if you plan to create a captive, if you have a dispute with a regulator, or if you need an expert witness to win your case, if you're planning a merger or acquisition, or if you just need legislative guidance or access, your next call should be to Allen Kerr Advisors. Give us a call or click that contact button on the top of our website at allenkerradvisors.com.
All right, back here on the Allen Kerr Advisors fifth quarter show for Inside the Hog Pen. Hey, I mentioned before we went to the break we were going to kind of come back and touch on some scores. We'll start in the SEC for games that going on earlier today. Obviously, we just talked about Missouri holds on over Vanderbilt 30-27. Early game of the day, Florida saves Billy Napier for at least this week and next week because they don't have a game next week. So you got to figure he's good for 2 weeks now. 45-28 over Mississippi State. That was Graham Mertz had a really good game. You just have to call it like it is. He had a really good game at quarterback for Florida, and I think there's a lot of people in that Florida locker room that can just kind of temporarily exhale and kind of catch their breath and take a second or two to not have to worry about their futures because Florida needed that one really bad. Kentucky
now on that one, MC. I know the entire game, Florida had 2 incompletions. Mm-hmm. The Lagway kid was perfect on the day. He's got some legs. Do we think that Florida's offense is that good and just had that stout of competition, or is Mississippi State in that much trouble this year?
I'm afraid Jeff Lebby and Mississippi State are just that terrible. Now, Florida did, on offense, they did play a little bit better than what I've seen them play up to this point in the season. But the majority of what made them looking so good was Mississippi State just being flat out atrocious on defense. I'm afraid they're headed for a very long season down at Starkville. And, Arkansas goes down there later in the year. You got to feel pretty good about that one. But at the same time, Arkansas always struggles in Starkville for some reason. So
kind of like Georgia struggles in Kentucky.
Yep. Exactly
I think it's
right.
karma for State for what they did last year. He didn't get a fair shake.
Yeah.
You don't fire a coach like that after 1 year, in my opinion. So
well, and especially given the situation.
For him.
Given the situation of Coach Leach passing away, and then they threw the defensive coordinator into that, and that's a no-win situation. You could insert coach's name here, in that situation, and that's going to be a very tough mountain to climb given all the circumstances. So anyway, I'm kind of like you. It's hard to feel sorry for them. I feel like they kind of dug their own grave with that one. So moving on, Kentucky had no problem with the Ohio Bobcats. Kentucky bounces back big, 41-6. LSU, this one went about like I thought. Early on, UCLA was putting up a good fight and actually had the lead, but LSU comes back to win 34-17. Covers the spread, and LSU picks up a big non-conference win and gets ready to jump back into conference play next week.
I believe that game was tied 17-17 at the half, so LSU shut them down in the second half and took care of business.
Yep.
That's going to be scary when they come up to the hill.
Yeah, watch them, put everything together like right before they come up to Arkansas for that game. Some other games in the conference, Texas and UL Monroe are just getting underway. Ole Miss is 2 minutes into the game, and they're already up 10-0 over Georgia Southern. 3:55 left in the first, and South Carolina's up 7-0 over Akron. A minute 53 left in the first, and A&M's up 7-0 on Bowling Green, and no score. Tennessee, Oklahoma was 6:50 left in the first. That one, when we get done here, that's the one that I'm probably going to tune into. I've got the quad split going right now, so a couple other scores. Iowa's up 7-0 over Minnesota, going up to Big Ten. And that's 4.5 minutes left in the first, and Iowa's already put 7 on the board, so that's a shocker. Here's an interesting
scored a lot
game.
Of games last year.
Yeah, here's a game that I think is going to be very interesting to watch over the course of the night. Miami at South Florida. Now Miami's ranked in the top 10. South Florida's not ranked, but they're 2-1 on the year. It's 14-12 right now in the second quarter. Miami hanging on to that 2-point lead. And then you've got Colorado and Baylor just getting underway. I don't believe there's a score on that one right now. I think Baylor's coming out for their first offensive possession here. Yeah, no score on that one here. So that one's early on as well. One of the big games from earlier in the day, USC Michigan. Little surprised by this one. I expected USC to go in there and really lay a whooping on Michigan, considering what we had seen from them so far to this point. And kudos to the Big Blue, man. They come in and took care of business, scored with about 45 seconds left in the game to take the win over USC.
Didn't they make a change at quarterback this week? I think
they did.
Heard.
They did.
I think they just got a little bit better scheme fit there.
Yeah, I think so. I didn't get to see a whole lot of it. I'm going to go back and look at some highlights on that one, but I'm very surprised by that. But, and this is where, when you talk about USC being in the Big Ten, this is where you start thinking about, okay, the huge travel factor that USC has going to play these games at Ann Arbor, Michigan, and all the way across the country like they're having to do. A lot of people say, they're athletes, they travel all the time. But when you have long cross-country travel like that, it's going to play a role.
I'm waiting for the first time they go play at Rutgers, literally coast to coast.
Yeah. I have to go all the way to Piscataway to play that one. Some other scores from top 25. I think NC State has been exposed as a fraud. Clemson had no trouble with them today. Put up 59 points. 59-35 is your final there. Ohio State doing what Ohio State does. They beat Marshall 49-14. There's another score down here. It's not a top 25, but it is a major upset in my book.
Oh, yeah, we got to talk about this one.
James Madison of the Sun Belt.
70 burger.
A 70 burger on North Carolina. And North Carolina, they put up 50, but how you going to give up 70 to James Madison?
This is James Madison's, third year in the FBS?
Third year in D1, yeah. Yeah, and they're just out there wrecking people.
That is... I know it was up there because they were ruled ineligible for bowl last year, because they hadn't served their probation.
Yeah. I'm looking to
score
see.
I'm interested in, MC, since you got them right there. Mm-hmm. How did the Pokes do against the Utes?
Let me get back to the top 25 on that, because that was one I actually meant to go and mention, and I did not get to it earlier. Let me scroll down here and see if I can find that one. Utah hangs on 22-19 was your final. I did see, I had the quad split on earlier and saw where it was 22-11. Oklahoma State got a touchdown 2-point conversion to make it 22-19 with about a minute and a half left. And I'm going to guess that they couldn't get the stop with the defense, and Utah was able to run out the clock because the 22-19 ends up being the final. Hey, let me jump back to that North Carolina game real quick. Story of that game, very similar to Auburn. North Carolina had 5 turnovers today.
I know Jacoby threw 2 picks. Yeah. I know they had a punt blocked in return for a touchdown.
Yep.
It was ugly.
Over 1,200 yards of total offense between the two teams, 120 points. 70-50. I mean, you're basically looking at a basketball score there. And that's
I've seen basketball games with lower scores.
Yeah, I have sat through some basketball games with lower scores there. But that's another big one on the day. So, all right, Jesse is. I think we're getting about ready to wrap this up. The comments seem to be kind of fading a little bit, but
I do want to get this one from Loki.
Yeah, go ahead.
Up. Also, since I wasn't available during pregame, shootout. That is all.
So that is Loki coming in late with the correction on the what we will still call the official name of the Texas-Oklahoma rivalry game that takes place at the State Fair every year. So that's they tried to make it this is a tongue tire for me, the Red River rivalry, after generations and generations of it being the Red River shootout. So we're going to continue to call it the shootout here on Inside the Hog Pen, and especially here on the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th Quarter Show. So Jesse, what do you take away from today?
They found a way to hold on. I told you before we started the show I was going to try to stay positive because I got all my negativity out in the group chat before.
Sure.
They found a way to hang on and win. They found a way to make plays when plays needed to be made. Defense stepped up huge, and Bobby just finally feed the studs.
Yeah.
Did not see Luke Has like we wanted to see him. I did see Ty Washington with a catch.
I did see Ty Washington go down with an injury, though.
I believe I saw him in later in the game.
Was he? Okay. I couldn't remember if he came back or not. So that's good that because we don't need any more injuries. And I mean, while we're touching on injuries, man, we got to get that secondary healthy. Metcalf had a great game today. But if you can put him into the mix when we get some of these starters back, we get Braxton back, we get Hud Island back, these guys getting the playing time that they're getting now may pay off down the road because you don't worry quite as much about drop-off when you have to get some of your starters a play or two off.
Yeah, that long touchdown Auburn had, it was just misplayed. The coverage was there, and he went behind him trying to swat instead of cutting him off. If he would have stepped in front of him instead of behind him, it would have been a pick six.
Are you talking about on the 4th down play late?
Yes.
Okay.
But he stepped behind the receiver instead of cutting his route off. And
I think on that one, I'd have to go back and look at it to make sure. But I'm pretty sure we were in zero coverage on that. And
we were in zero coverage, so he had no
bringing
help.
The blitz. So it was an all or nothing kind of deal there. If he got beat, then they were headed to the house, and that's what happened. But as I pointed out when we started the postgame show here, that's a play right there that in years past would turn the game, and Arkansas would end up giving it away. And the fact that they were able to not let that completely demoralize everybody, come back out and go on that huge drive and find a way to hold on to the lead there late. And walk out of Auburn, which is not an easy place to play. I mean, you could tell that crowd was hyped. They were ready to go. And they made it tough because what happened the very first play of the game? We come out, Taylor Green gets a delay of game penalty on the very first snap. And I'm kind of, I'm already putting my hands up here like this thinking, oh, God, it's going to be a long day. But, we were able to overcome that early on and then overcome some adversity late. Hopefully this pays off down the road to where when these guys face adversity, like probably they will face next week versus A&M, that they don't completely lose control. They take a deep breath, step back, and say, all right, that play's over. It's behind us. Let's get the next one. But this the Aggie game was going to be big anyway. It just became a lot bigger. You know, you're going into that game 3-1. If you get that game and you're 4-1 going into Tennessee, coming to Fayetteville, I'm not going to say you feel good about the Tennessee game, but you feel a heck of a lot better about your opportunity to get to 6, which, let's face it, that's the first goal, is to get to 6. And if you get to 6, then, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the season is a success because I had it picked at 4-8. You're sitting here at 3-1 right now. I honestly expected to be 2-2 at this point. So they're pacing a little bit of ahead of where I expected them to be. Now you just got to take advantage of that and keep building on it. And, you know, because you've got the meat of your schedule is still to come. And that's why this A&M game has become even bigger. Plus, this is the last one in Jerry World. You don't want to go out only having won a single game of the last 10 in Jerry World. You got to get this one. You got to get this one coming next week. But we'll talk more about that Wednesday night, or actually Thursday night. Look at me.
Thursday night.
Trying to mess it up here. Thursday night this week. Regular show is being moved over to Thursday night. You hear me, Baxter Meeks, if you're out there. You asked for it. We're giving it to you. We're moving to Thursday night, 7 p.m. Thursday night. We're going to see how this works, if this works out better for everybody that wants to watch. Now you can go and listen to Sam Pittman's show on Wednesday night and then come over and tell us about it, what you thought about what Coach Pittman had to say on Wednesday nights as we get on our regular show Thursday night this week. All right, Jesse, let's put a bow on this thing, man. 3-1, getting ready to go down to Jerry World one more time before that contract changes. Hopefully we can grab this one and leave Arlington on a high note, being 4-1 before we start the big homestand in a couple weeks.
We're 4-1 coming out of Jerry World. You got to think the opportunity for 6 wins is there because you'll still have Mississippi State and La Tech on the schedule. They're not guaranteed, but I'd much rather have to beat Mississippi State and La Tech than Tennessee and Texas to be bowl eligible.
No doubt. No doubt. All right, well, we appreciate everybody jumping in the comments here tonight on the Allen Kerr Advisors 5th Quarter Show. We had good viewership tonight. We want to thank everybody for that. Don't forget, this week, our regular weekly show, Thursday night, 7 o'clock, not Wednesday. Back on Thursday this week. Jesse the Beard Thurman, I'm your boy MC. We'll see you guys Thursday night.
Hi, I'm Allen Kerr, president and founder of Allen Kerr Advisors. As an advisor group, our goal is to ensure a positive reputation with government agencies and legislative bodies to provide timely and proactive solutions for all of our clients. We have successfully represented our clients with targeted campaigns that get results. Our focus is on the insurance industry, but we're experts in other areas of business as well. We're a full-service, nationwide advisor group with legislative and regulatory relationship networks in all 50 states. We can assist companies in getting their first certificate of operation and then help them expand nationwide. We can also help businesses create and launch new products, setting up standard risk pools, and creating captive entities. So, if you're planning a company expansion, if you plan to create a captive, if you have a dispute with a regulator, or if you need an expert witness to win your case, if you're planning a merger or acquisition, or if you just need legislative guidance or access, your next call should be to Allen Kerr Advisors. Give us a call or click that contact button on the top of our website at allenkerradvisors.com.